first thing we're going to do is create an environment to spin up some on-prem bare metal infrastructure.
Okay, so you're going to use open source to save my life.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I feel terrible.
You feel terrible. Feel good about it. It'll be okay.
All right.
So the first thing we're going to pick is our container orchestrator, which is Mesos. We're going to give it a reasonable name here. And we're going to go ahead and create the environment. Now, once we have the environment registered and active, we can go and deploy some infrastructure. Now, we've sort of done a little bit of work here and used RackHD along with Rancher's Docker machine interface.
Oh, before you go on, RackHD.
I know it's complicated for you, but we'll slow it down.
All right, please. Abbreviate it. RackHD, come on.
Okay. RackHD is a tool to deploy your workflows on bare metal hardware. It's bare metal provisioning. We take hardware out of the box, we put it in the rack, now we put an operating system.
And this is what, an EMC product?
This is an open source project we've done through EMCcode and was actually an acquisition from EMC.
Okay, all right, so we're fully open source now.
Yeah, it's all open source. You feeling good still?
Keep going.
So we're going to connect our Docker machine interface from Rancher to RackHD. Now, since you're dying over here, I've done this already, but I'll show you how easy it is to do. You just fill out a few fields, click create, and the interface is activated. Now that we have RackHD connected, we can go back and we can deploy some hosts. This is as simple as a few mouse clicks. We click hosts. I think maybe for your toxicity level, I think 10 boxes should do the trick.
You mean you can assess how much compute is needed just by eyeing me up and down?
Yeah, it's an old open source trick. So we fill out a few fields here, and we go ahead and we click create. Now these machines are being provisioned on-prem with compute and network, and as they get provisioned here, we'll do the next part, which I know is your favorite.
So RackHD, so you've got physical hosts, now managed by RackHD, provisioned into a cluster.
That's right.
I've got it. See, I'm getting this thing.
You're getting there. We can go back and slow down if you need it.
The thing that we're missing, though,
yeah, what are you missing?
the center to the whole universe, we're missing storage.
Storage, I'm glad you brought that up. So let's go ahead and deploy storage. Now, instead of deploying a hardware array or something like that and having to go backstage and plug it all in, we simply deploy it with software. So I have Scale.io here, one of our best software-defined storage products. We fill out some reasonable defaults in these fields. And now we deploy Scale.io. And you can see the stack actually being deployed here. If we switch back over to the infrastructure, you can see how all of this Scale.io pieces are deployed in containers onto the infrastructure.
So the Scale.io software now is just automatically being kind of sprayed onto the nodes in that cluster.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
No admin required. Just
it's so easy you could do it if I wasn't here.
Makes me feel better. I could save myself.
But we have one more thing we need to do. We need to connect the storage array to the cluster orchestration. We picked Mesos earlier, and so what we need to do is bridge the gap between Mesos and the Scale.io storage. And I have just the thing for that as well. EMCcode releases an open source project called RackHD that deals with storage orchestration. And I can deploy RackHD just as easily as I deployed Scale.io. A few clicks, a few defaults, and we're off and activating that array.
So let me get this right. This is the storage abstraction layer that connects it directly up to the container, and the container is where the application is running, and that's the thing that is going to save my life.
Let's hope so.
All right.
So now we can see that RackHD is fully provisioned across all of the nodes in the environment. It's correctly connected to Scale.io, and I think probably we should deploy an application to save your life.
Yeah, you probably should.
I should probably get there?
You should probably get there.
All right.
It could drop dead any moment, and you don't seem the most bit worried.
I'm not.
All right.
So we have the app called Poison Ivy. We're going to give it a name, and we're going to deploy it just like we've deployed everything else. And as that stack is activating, we can flip back over to the infrastructure tab, and now I can see that the Poison application has been deployed across all 10 nodes.
So at some point here, we're going to get a diagnosis and a recommendation for my potentially fatal poisoning.
I mean, I could just let you drop dead. I don't have to say anything else.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
All right, so now that the application is deployed, let's flip back to the spy HUD and see where we're at with analyzing the toxin in your body.
I'm looking fairly buff on there.
Oh, yeah. You like that? We kind of took those measurements many years ago.
HIP red ink, I knew it.
Thankfully, it seems that it's not going to be toxic. Let's see if we have an anecdote. So we're going to analyze the poison here. We're going to see if we can come up with a good anecdote for you. Luckily, I understand that this poison is not toxic. It just slows down your innovation.
There you go.
And the anecdote, luckily for you, is EMC 5-hour innovation drink.
So I drink this?
Just throw that back, and I think that you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I could be a little bit wired for the next
yeah, I know.
couple of hours, but that's good. Fantastic. So life saved, all done by Scale.io, Mesos, Rancher, what else? Rexray.
Rexray and RackHD.
Absolutely amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Q2.
Save your life yet again.